The Christmas bonus we give out has always been done with Christmas bucks through it used to be chamber and then they went away, and that's completely gone now. That's going to have to go through payroll now. So there's going to be taxes and all that good stuff taken out.
What did we do last year for the Christmas bucks?
It was 75 for part-time, 150 for full.
But if we keep those, they're only going to wind up with
Whatever.
130 versus.
It might be a little bit more. Yeah, somewhere.
There's no Christmas bucks anymore.
No, they've done away with it.
The chamber.
Well, the chamber was chamber bucks, and then that went away, and then I can't think of it. Did the Christmas bucks to keep that going, and it's they're not doing it anymore. So.
Well,
And also, when do you want to get those out to the employees? What do you want to do?
I think December 1 would be appropriate.
Okay. I also wondered if you wanted to do like a employee Christmas type party where you guys could be here also. Last year, after we had the Next Tech phones installed, they gave us a $250 gift card to Pizza Hut, and I've held on to that. And I thought maybe this year we could use that for pizza for the.
Let's do it. Set that up sometime after December 1, I think would be good. Do you want to keep the Christmas bucks the same? 150 for full-time, 75 for part-time? Even though there are going to be taxes and stuff taken out of it.
Yeah, I just wish we could figure a way with not having to tax it.
Yeah. But if it goes through payroll, that's got to be done that way. Or do you want to increase it a little bit to cover that?
I want to, but I don't know if we can afford it.
What fund would they come out of?
Well, I don't know, because all that's going to be, I'm going to have to set that all up in payroll. We'll have to get with Dolores and all that. I don't know. I can't remember what that was actually coming out of.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's just enough to go to the Halloween spook parade. Or a Halloween party or something.
Okay. We want to table it till the next meeting, or you want to go ahead and approve it?
I can do some investigating on when it's kind of going
Yeah,
to come
that
out.
might be a good idea.
Come out and come back with you on the next meeting.
Is there a way we could, a gift card of some kind?
I don't know. I don't think you can use taxpayer money to gift card something without paying it.
I think we were kind of iffy on those Christmas bucks.
I do.
Yeah, I think that was kind of.
Okay. We don't need to table it. Same as last year, and it's just, I'm sorry they'll have to pay taxes on it.
Well, if we give Scott an opportunity to at least see what fund
Yeah,
you're going to tap and
because
maybe-
I can come back at the November 1st November meeting with a little more
Very good.
information. I just
Okay.
wanted to give you a heads up. on
Okay.
this.
I think that's the proper way to go that way.
Yeah, Peyton Vimes employee wage agreement.
Okay.
And then Amanda wanted me to give you this sheet, and it's the KLPG, and I don't ask me what that.
What the acronym is
Well, yeah,
for.
what that is for, but what is going on is they are trying, last year they tried to get appraisers to be elected officials.
I remember that.
Now they're trying to get them to be state employees.
Yeah, I
And
heard that too.
have like 4 counties to each and appraiser, and there's a set amount. This is a fact sheet of what is kind of going on there.
But they haven't made any solid
No
decisions.
decisions yet, but she wanted you to be aware of it.
I don't like this one. The county would not have the ability or discretion to say when the appraiser would be in their county or how many hours they would work in their county.
And she also said that we might not even have her. They might put her somewhere else.
Yeah. But that probably won't happen till the next legislative session, I don't think. I mean, all right.
That's all I have.
All right.
Scott, you might want to let the commissioners know why the early voting didn't start until it did.
The early voting, you can start October 17th is the first time you can start. Mandatory start is October 30th. In the primary election, I found out that you have to have a minimum of 3 people in your office during that. That means I'm paying someone. The election budget's pretty close to the way it is. That's why I took it down to the bare minimum of when we had to.
So you just skipped a pay period is what you did.
Well, I skipped a week of having to pay somebody.
Because basically what had happened is there was a conference call with the Kansas Secretary of State whereby it was disclosed to all counties that when it comes to early voting, you need to have an election board present during the time that the polls are open. There are several counties across the state who are basically in the same situation as Cheyenne County, whereby that is a financial burden that was not anticipated.
And didn't even know about it, like myself. I mean, there was about 40 counties.
If you
that
can't
didn't know.
prepare for it.
So it was kind of a sudden expense that we didn't know was coming up, so.
Okay.
So that is why the polls didn't open as early as they have in the past.
Yeah.
And probably will not in the future either.
Well, it makes financial sense. Okay, anything else? All right. Elmer, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but we're ready for you, sir. Thank you.
Any chair work, or do you want
Yes
to
or
sit
no?
back there?
No,
already?
have a seat, sir.
That's a document, the disclaimer, what we're trying to do. And
Okay.
and there's 3 things I wanted to visit with you about. The picture out here, it was, as I remember as a kid, that they had a huge thing out there that got dilapidated, tore it down. Nobody was old as I am, I guess, remembered, but it had, I think at that, I remember looking as a kid, looking at that and all the ones, and the gold star for the guys who had given their lives for our country. We'd like to borrow that for this event. Is that possible? It's hanging on the wall right over by the treasurer's office. You know, I'm not even, when they're aware of it, maybe most of us aren't. There's a picture
I knew it
showing
was there.
showing all the veterans, all
Right.
the people that served in the military in Cheyenne County.
I guess our only concern is we have no idea how that thing is mounted, and we sure hate to. We don't want to destroy that. That's,
No, right.
That's,
I
that's
think
a piece of
it's hanging
Cheyenne
on-
County history.
Hanging on the wall, I think. We might use it for that event, because somebody asked about it, whether we could borrow it for that event.
I don't know, anybody else got some comments on that? I'm going to slip out there and look at it.
I know it's got a little light mounted on, it looks like, but I don't know, there's an outlet, it looks like you could shine a light on it, but I don't know whether it even works, or whether there's an outlet there you can plug it into. I thought maybe it was just hanging on the wall there, but I don't know, it may be mounted, I don't know.
It's just hanging there. There's an electrical cord coming off of it, but the light's not even in it anymore.
As long as it doesn't get damaged or something, then, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm worried about, is being damaged, because HT Sawhill, he painted a 16 by 20 foot mural, and he painted this miniature one in 1948, and I just would hate to see the thing get damaged.
When is your
It's
event?
fine.
No.
November 10th, Saturday noon, November 10th.
And you're going to hang this up at the cafeteria at the high
We
school?
put it on a table where people could see it, you know.
Well, it is a tribute to the veterans, and I think they're entitled to have it personally, but
If we pick it up like Friday afternoon on the, would that be the 9th,
Yeah.
9th, and bring it back Monday morning, or, it's up to you. Yeah, we just, there'd been a question asked about it, and some people thought it'd be really nice for those attending to see that, you know.
can we make you responsible for it?
I just saw it.
I don't care. Anybody else?
Somebody needs to be responsible.
Yeah.
Unless one of you guys wanted to bring it up and take it back, it's immaterial. I will be if you want me to. If you got somebody else you prefer to do it, that'd be super.
Well, we just like to have somebody accountable to make sure it's picked up and returned in a timely fashion, and that it's not damaged in any way.
Right.
Is there glass on it?
No.
There's no glass?
Yeah,
Is it? Maybe there is.
I thought there was glass on it.
That light fixture on the top.
It's just hanging there. Really. Just set it. In Bird City, we normally have the mayor sign these of the town. But if the mayor happen to be the person that we're going to recognize, we want one of you
Commissioners.
to sign it. And we'll be willing to do that. We'll
Yes.
try to get that so that we won't have them ready till next week. We're still working on it. If you're willing to do that, chase you down or get it up. You guys come into the office all the time, every little
Well,
bit.
if you
and
give
leave it.
Scott a heads up,
Yeah, I'd leave it here. We get it ready to go. Leave it at his office, and
Correct.
one of you'd sign it.
Yes.
Or I guess you're the chairman. Maybe it would look more impressive as the chairman. I don't know what
Yeah,
makes
oh boy.
any difference.
I doubt it
Whether there's
either,
any rank or anything on that. So
but yeah, if you would just get those to Scott and I'll
leave
run
it
up
Scott
some.
ready to go, and you'll get a hold of one of you so you can sign
Right.
it. Any other questions?
No, sir, I think that's
Here's
it.
my card. I'll leave you guys. If you need to get a hold of me,
Okay.
got my phone number on it. Anybody else want one? Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cullen.
Have a great day.
Okay, Jeff. I don't even want to see what yours says. Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Don't have a whole lot this morning, but it is the end of the month. I had some current concerns written down here on our agenda request. There's been some further narrative on the non-functioning door alarms, but Kurt, the construction manager, got a couple of guys from Heineken, the electric subcontractor, back in the building to try to repair the door alarms that were disabled unintentionally or what by Heineken workers doing electric. And they're not specialists in door alarms, so they weren't able to bring them back. And so I had recommended to Kurt and Eddie Schultz and others that they should try to get the Pinnacle guys. Pinnacle did the fire alarms in both buildings. And Hutton thinks they're pretty good, and they seem like pretty good guys. They know what they're doing. To come back and work on the door alarms. Well, they were there yesterday, and they're working, and they're not done yet. So I hope that by the time they're done, all the doors will be have functioning door alarms, because it's a big no-no by the state surveyors if the doors are not alarmed. The state surveyors showed up yesterday. You have 2 days left operating the facility, and they didn't know we were on our way out, and it's going to be a new operator. So of course they found some doors, one door that was not alarmed, and so kind of casting dire threats that was the case. But 2 hours later, the guys from Pinnacle were there, so
So the
we hope
issue's
they'll. Well, it's not settled yet because they're not working yet, but that's all we could do was to get specialists there to try to solve the problem. We can't do more than that
no.
unless we put on some, I don't know, low-cost alarms of some kind that sound when the door's opened. I don't know what that would be, but they say such things are available. So that's kind of in limbo, but my concern was to get the Pinnacle there, and the new operator also needs, in my opinion, needs to get with Pinnacle and set up a service agreement for all the low-voltage systems.
Yeah,
Because
well, it's no different than any other medical care facility. They all do the same thing.
Yep. And since the guys were there, I was urging Eddie and Valerie to think about setting up a service contract with these guys.
Well, they're going to have to sooner or later.
Yeah,
Somebody.
yeah. I mean, yes. In the long term, they need someone to work on their systems, but we'll see. I'll see Eddie later today because the vehicles that belong to the society, those are being sold to CCV, and so we're signing titles later today. So door alarms are important, and we hope that's getting smoothed over. The remote monitoring service, that'd be good if Pinnacle also took care of that, because the current providers that's in Emporia didn't act on a pendant that alarmed, but there was no result, no action taken. So we're ready to move on to somebody else. Then, we've had a discussion about therapy services from the hospital servicing the village. And, I admitted my mom into one of the nursing homes in Colby because the rooms here still are not all available to service residents. So anyway, they have physical therapists and occupational therapists from the hospital come into the nursing home and service the residents there. But It's a different situation because somehow the hospital owns or operates the nursing home.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably right.
So, but-
And those are all, we're not familiar with the rules and laws that regulate those kind of things. We're dependent on the hospital, and
Yeah.
apparently the hospital has said, no, we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, that's right. I'm just saying it is working in Colby
Yeah.
that way. I'm not saying that the hospital is able to do that here, but the hospital in Colby is able to. And then you got the report for September. It'll be Good Samaritan's last month. And personally, I fully understand why you wanted to withhold some of the 6 mills for the rest of the year. I mean, I would do the same thing.
It just made sense. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I would have done the same thing.
why do
so,
we pay for something we don't get service? I mean,
Yeah. So our census was a little bit below average, so our revenue therefore was a little bit below average, our expenses.
do you have any new rooms open now? I mean, available?
Yeah, in fact, all the new rooms, except for 2, are occupied now in the center of the long-term care facility. And we moved residents there 10 days ago. And 2 rooms are still sort of blocked. Two beds in that one room are blocked because they're still working on the tub room, and because there's no tub or shower available there, we are using the shower in the one blocked room for residents. And then on the old part of the building, there was black mold behind the wall in the resident room adjacent to the shower. And so that room was vacated while they tore out some drywall and put it back in. They're not done with that yet. And some of the other rooms are going to be a charting room and non-resident rooms, according to the plan. So there are some rooms still not available to service residents. So right now we have 24 residents. There was a death yesterday morning.
Well, I guess that was my question. If we can get these new rooms opened up, our census should go up. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's a good chance it'll be full or just about full
Yeah.
once we get
So
going.
what will be our number of rooms when we're get all remodeled?
Well, it'll be 30 beds.
30 beds.
Yeah. Rooms offhand, I don't know. There are 6, okay.
That's what you have.
There are 16 new rooms, and there'll be 14 existing rooms. Mixed with beds. Each of those rooms will have a bed, so that's 30.
So we lost some rooms. I mean,
No, we had 30 beds before. No, we added rooms.
so if we had 30 beds and we added 16,
We went from semi-private to private.
okay.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own room. They might have their own bath. 8 will have their own bath. 22 would be sharing a bath with somebody else. But the new rooms are very nice. They're very private, even though they're semis. And they're very quiet. The residents are commenting how quiet it is at night. They can
Good.
sleep a lot better. Yeah.
Good.
Any questions on the accounting report?
I don't think so, Jeff.
Okay.
We appreciate all your hard work over the years. And
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. This is my very last day as a Good Samaritan employee.
so, retirement or?
Yeah,
All right.
I got Social Security and Medicare set
Attaboy.
to go. Myself and my family will stay in St. Francis. We're not going anywhere immediately. So you'll see me around. I'll see you around.
All right, Jeff. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shake your hand.
Okay, all right. Roger.
Thank you.
Hey, Scott. Yeah.
Okay, Alicia, we're ready for you, I think.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
How is everyone this morning?
We're good, thank you.
Pretty good? I'm gonna get all my junk put down.
That's fine.
This is the renewal. I'll just put this over here. We're gonna go through all the renewal numbers, go through options for the county, go over your numbers. Transpired so far this year. Any questions? Issues that you guys have heard about or anything we can address, so.
I know Roger would like to talk to you about
Medicare supplement.
supplement insurance.
Medicare supplement
And I
plans.
think you-
Me also.
You also. One of the things that I think I think I heard and understood what Scott was saying, one of the issues that some of the counties and cities that I deal with, they have consulted, like with Leslie, with the county attorneys, because if you're thinking of putting an employee and paying for their Medicare supplements in lieu of the premiums that you're paying for the insurance, that's where the commissioners and the city councils normally discuss that with the attorney. One county that I know of was advised that you couldn't do that because it was discriminatory because of age or what have you. I don't know. I am not in the legal profession, nor do I want to be, but that is something that most of the counties and cities want to do, because a Medicare supplement plan, you have your A coverage and your B. A is free, B is normally $135, whatever, through Medicare. Then you pick up a supplement plan for someone 65, that normally runs about $125 to $130 a month. Well, the supplement picks up whatever Medicare is saying, yeah, we'll pay for that, but we're only going to pay 80%. Or you have a $1,500 deductible or what have you. With Medicare, your supplement will pick up those charges, leaving the patient with a zero. So that is something I can do very easy. I can have meetings, I can do it however you would want, but I would need you to make sure that it was something that you could offset legally. Is that the question that you had for me, Scott?
What, I don't see where the legalities play into
I
this.
thought we
I'm
had-
a little
Well-
I
confused.
thought we had some people on that. Or
You do, but are you paying that?
I thought.
See, I don't know.
I
Okay,
thought so.
Scott?
I think so, but I'm not 100%
That's,
positive.
you bet, you can have people, and you do, because if they're disabled and under age 65, then Medicare is primary. But you're over 20 lives at your group, so when that person turns 65,
We don't know.
Nobody should be calling in now.
Okay.
when that person turns 65, then the group plan is primary. All right? So that may be what you're talking about. I think you have there was an issue with one.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay. My age, I lose train of thought all the time anyway.
It's a new machine that I don't know how to run very well, so.
Okay. So when the person then does turn 65, then the plan, the group insurance then is primary. They still have secondary. So I just need a little bit more clarification on your question.
Well, yeah. I know we have an employee now, and the spouse is on Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how that works.
Okay.
And I think,
If you want to do this for all the employees and say, you still want to work. Is there a plug we just pull? No, I'm kidding.
I'm with you.
No, I'm just being ornery.
turn the wall just to plug it.
That's not bad.
I can sit on it. It won't ring there.
I'm not gonna mess with that. So. I'll just keep pushing the button.
Now I
We're
have
good.
lost my train.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. So it's whatever you decide, and that way it offsets the money. I have counties and cities that have people that want to continue working past age 65. They go on their Medicare, and the employer pays for the Medicare supplement because it's cheaper than what the insurance costs them.
And that's what we're looking at. That's
know.
what we would like to do.
I know.
But there's some legalities that will
Well,
prevent that.
that's what I was told by one county.
I don't know how in the world that could be any kind of
But you
discrimination.
do it if you're hired on some counties
There are some,
that you're involved with.
yes.
I don't know how this could be an age discrimination thing.
Well, I don't know either. We're providing a service.
It's purely voluntary
Yeah.
in regards to taking advantage of this option.
Yes.
Okay. That was my opinion, but like I
That's-
Yeah, we're not
said,
forcing
Leslie,
anybody
It's
into
totally
it.
voluntary.
I'm not,
And it's, you know,
Let me ask you this. If a person is Medicare age
eligible.
eligible,
Right,
can they stay on the full coverage plan?
you bet,
yes,
yes.
yes, it's totally voluntary.
Yes. But it's their decision, it's the individual's decision to take Medicare and then
They will get Part A automatically when they
They
turn
turn
65,
65.
period. It's the
and
B
it will be
coverage.
the, and A will be the primary after 65.
Well, AB would be primary.
Okay, well, that's what I mean.
But after age 65 on groups of 20 or more, yes.
Okay.
Your group insurance is. So up until age 65, if someone is disabled and works for you, Medicare is primary. When they turn 65, then Medicare is primary. So they would have Part A coverage. That would be secondary to your insurance, okay? If they pay for Part B coverage, which they don't, because why would they want to pay that premium unless you guys would opt for it? So it's just a matter of you telling me what you want. And like Scott said, you think you already have some that you're doing it anyway. So I don't know, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you are.
Well, in my case, my spouse is going to be eligible the first of next year.
Okay,
And that's the reason I'm,
and where's your coverage? Okay, so you're covered through here, spouse is eligible for Medicare at the next year, first part of next
Right.
year,
right.
okay? I would just have your spouse go on
Yeah.
Part A, B, and the supplement.
See, I have AB right now,
You do?
yes,
Yeah.
but no supplement.
Are you on this plan also?
No.
No, okay, but you don't have a supplement?
No.
Okay,
Fix you right up.
okay,
Look into it, because I'm assuming you're going to be back next month.
yes.
So if you would,
We questioned your son when he was here, and he said, "Talk to my mom. She knows that stuff." So that's why we're asking.
Mom, see how that
Yeah.
goes?
He passed the buck.
See how that goes, Scott?
With the fly, you don't have to have it to fly like that.
You need a 2-for-1 deal.
And I probably should have warned you about that. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. I love listening to a phone ring in between my conversation. So, yes, we will address that. That will be number one on the agenda to make sure all the information is for you. But like you said, I couldn't see how it would. Oh. If you will look, are we ready to go over the renewal? All right. If you will look on page,
When you're done with that, too.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Gardner.
I say I got some more questions on your last report here when you're done with
Okay,
that.
okay. Do you want me to go through this one, or do you want me to see if we cover those questions with the new information?
I don't know, these are pretty simple questions.
Okay, all right.
What I want to know is, what's the difference between the total charge and the allowable charge? Who sets that up?
That is basically what the insurance companies, when a provider joins
It's
the
an
network.
insurance
Yes,
standard.
it is an
Okay,
insurance.
that's what I
You're
needed to
right,
know there.
Commissioner Gardner.
And then I see on the total charges on all the claims from our employees to what was paid by the plan is only 22.1%. Is that normal?
Repeat your question one more time, Commissioner Gardner.
The difference between the
Right.
total charge
Right,
and what was paid by the plan, according to your own figures,
right.
was only 22.1%. So over this 3-month or 6-month period of time, is that normal?
That is set by the provider, and normally it's 20%. So yes, you're within the ballpark, Commissioner.
So basically, any insurance company we get, they're only going to pay 20%.
It depends on how they contract with their providers. Because some are considered preferred providers, some are considered premier providers, and that's how the insurance companies offset and pay. So normally it's around 20%.
Okay.
Pretty good business you should have got in it.
Damn
You did a
right, I'm
lot
gonna
of
get it.
numbers there, Commissioner Gardner.
Well, that's what happens when I think that's a very big number.
Well, and
I would a hell of a lot rather seen 80% payout.
And I'll also explain something when we go through this one, because it may pique your interest on this one too when you get to those claims numbers. So I'll cover that on this. If you look at page 1, which is the number page, first column is your current. This is exactly what you're currently right now for 2018. That's the first column, based on the census count at that time. So you may have one or less employees here and there that with your billings, but that is based on that census. 13 employee onlys, 9 with spouse, 5 employee children, and 12 employee family. So that's with this census. The renewal came in at 10.5% increase. As we have said before, Julie and I have both talked to you guys about the trend amounts are normally between a point and a point and a half per month, or 1 to 1.5% per month. It's considered normal trend in the industry. That is trend for increases because of medical equipments that everyone wants the best when they're in the hospital, and that costs money, so that's what they normally calculate. So normal increases are around 12 to 15%. So you guys did come in under at 10.53. That is in your second column. That is the renewal, and it is the same. If you look across column 1 and 2, you have your $6,000 deductible, your same percentages, same out-of-pocket. You go down the line here, and you still have your 50-50 plan. So it is the same plan, and some of the plans have changed because of ACA rulings. A lot of the carriers have had, and not just United Healthcare, that's Aetna and Allied and all of them, have had to tweak their plans a little bit. But your plan is the same plan, and it is at 10.5%. Now, when Julie went out to market, she looked at, if you look in column 3, that is, your employees have a $1,000 deductible. They have a maximum of $2,500 out of pocket, so that's what they can budget for the year. If they had to be in the hospital and it was a $50,000 bill, they know that they're going to have to pay $2,500 out of their pocket. So that $1,000 deductible plan is
That doesn't blow.
it's what?
The radiator's doing something back there.
What is it with me? Why is
I don't
everything? Batteries are dying.
We would like you to hurry along here before the building falls in.
Okay, hold
No,
on.
I'm just kidding you.
Halloween, all the ghosts
I'll just
are
hurry
out there.
along.
Yeah, it is Halloween.
Okay, I'm always spooked out here. Okay, so column 3 is basically if you guys went out to market, out to the industry, column 3, and you said this is the kind of plan we want for our employees, you're looking at 67.58% more than what you're paying. Do you see the very bottom, 67%? So that's what the cost would be if you went out to market to find a plan that is exactly like what your employees have right now. So you are saving quite a bit percentage-wise. So we went to Blue Cross also, and Blue Cross is at 41.8%. Okay, so most of your carriers for the plan that you offer for your employees, which is a very good plan, would be, I'm going to say, average of 50 to 55% more than what cost would be, what you're paying. The very last column with Blue Cross, you're going to see that, well, my goodness, it's only a 2.1% increase over what we're paying. But if you look there is a $350 deductible more that your employees would have to pay. So I don't know if adding another $350 to their deductible is worth the 2%. So the bottom portion of this page shows what was projected. So last year at this time, we thought you would be in at this dollar amount, the $49,513. Your actual came in at $50,000, which is 2% over, but when you add your reserves back in, that's the money that you have in your reserve account, you're over 18% under of what was projected. And the reserves is the money that is set aside every month in your account for claims. And I have another sheet that shows what the balance is that you have sitting in that little account. Okay? Any questions on the renewal and the marketing? All right. The next page is, and Scott, you get a copy of this every month, so this is very familiar for you all, and it just shows what your medical claims cost, the monthly RX costs. That final column over here, you're going to see a little blank there. This was printed prior to getting the information. So that is, if you want to write this number in, and that blank is 95,790. That blank column, yeah. And that goes right under September. So if you follow the line across, and everybody else has one, you'll see one is missing there, and that is the 95,790. Okay. The next page, do you have any questions on this page? Okay. The next page is your dental. And because your dental is part of your Freedom Claims, your Freedom Choice packet. So your dental is into there. If you look, the most important column to look at is this one right here. You'll see this right here, which are the numbers that it equal out to for your premiums for the dental. Mm-hmm. And for single, $19.15, family $71, employee dependent $43.95, and employee spouse $47.38. You cannot find a dental plan anywhere that has the benefits that you all have for your employees for a full family for $47.38. So you're really doing good on that and offering a wonderful benefit. And I have the benefit sheets in here. We'll go over that too. But this is just on the dental. Okay? This is the one that I wanted to talk to Commissioner Gardner to once we'll go through there. Your top benefits by group, you're going to see that page next, and that's just going to give you an idea of where your employees are utilizing the providers. So you're going to see your prescription drug claims are always the top one. That is always on every one of these spreadsheets that I see. Prescription drugs comes in really high on everybody. So your prescription drugs, outpatient hospital, doctor visits, those are all and labs, those are always your top ones. And then you get down to the bottom and you have, physical therapy or routine.
Alicia, I've been noticing, like on our situation, that we'll see something from United Health, but we never see anything from Freedom Claims, even though we are giving both cards to the provider.
What do you not see? You receive an EOB, explanation of benefits from United Healthcare, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you don't receive anything, is it showing everything is paid?
No.
And you don't get an EOB from Freedom Claims?
No.
Okay?
I can provide all of that information to you that I've saved.
Yes.
And
Yes, I need that.
And I don't think I've ever seen that.
I'm sorry,
I
Scott.
haven't ever seen that on me either.
On an EOB?
Yeah, I mean, personally,
every
Right.
now and then, like the clinic, the Cheyenne County Clinic is good in regards to, however, things are reported, but it's rare, very rare, that I will see anything about Freedom Claims.
Okay. Now, the only reason I asked you if there was anything that, because some people go in for preventive care, and that's covered at 100%. So, no, you probably wouldn't get some, but you're saying no, that there are balances due, and you never get anything from Freedom Claims for an EOB. That's what I want to know. Have you ever called Freedom Claims to ask them?
No, I have not.
Okay, I will get a hold of Julie today on my way home, and Leslie, I'll get that issue addressed. And Scott, same with you too. Have you heard from any other employee that's saying that they're not getting EOBs?
not that
Okay.
particular. I mean, I see stuff come in here.
Okay.
I think the process is so confusing that people
Yes.
just see a bill come in and they pay it without questioning what is going on. I know that's what I've been doing because I'm like, I don't get it. Like, we gave them both the cards and this is what they're saying I have to pay, so I'm
Yeah.
paying.
And that's where I come in and Julie's office comes in to play, because if a provider feels that they can just get the money from you, they're not even going to bother to file the other card. And so when something like that happens, if you hear of any employees that say, well, yes, but I never heard from Freedom Claims, then I need to, or Julie's office needs to know, Scott, because they need to get a hold of that provider and say, where's our... So, because the provider is supposed to send those EOBs to both, they're supposed to send them to both. So,
I think that's where the hangup is.
I do too.
We're involved in the same kind of a situation too. So,
okay.
I think everybody is.
Yeah,
All right.
Why is there two cards?
those are two separate entities.
Because of this reserve plan, you remember the first page I was saying it would be 60% more. Because of that, but what Leslie is saying is she gives them both cards, the United Healthcare and the Freedom card, the Freedom Claims card. And if a provider is not filing that Freedom Claims card, if they're not filing the claim to both, then they're only giving it to United Healthcare. United Healthcare is paying off of their rate or their coverage structure, and it's not going to Freedom Claims to give the employee the extra amount.
Right, they're billing you for the amount that wasn't.
United is not covering.
Yes, that's the situation we're in also.
On the billing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know a lot of that's the providers
Yes.
being lazy, or it
They
all
don't
depends on
understand.
it all depends on the person that you're dealing with.
But, go ahead.
Recently, we were in a hospital in Wichita, Kansas Spine, and I kept telling her there are two cards. She finally went. I was so adamant. She finally went and got a supervisor, and the supervisor comes in and says, "Yes, there is. Here it is." And she looks it up. So they're
It's
just
the person, exactly what you were saying is right, because you will get someone sitting at the front desk and they know they've got that, but they should be used to it, because with Medicare, if you have a supplement, you show them your Medicare card and your supplement card, they file two two separate ones. They'll file Medicare and they'll file Aetna or whoever your supplement's with.
Yeah.
They know how to do it, but then they
We
get
figured
someone
out that it basically boils down to the person
and who's
that's
sitting there at the
coding
front
it in
desk.
at the time.
Yep, it is.
And I'll say this right now, I think we need to look at that Blue Cross, because I've probably had 10 employees in the last 2-3 months come up and ask me, why are we not with Blue Cross Blue Shield?
Because prior to this,
I'm just,
right, and
I
I'm
think we just
just
need to look at it this year. a
And I
little
will
bit
tell
harder.
you a couple of things. Prior to this year, health questions had to be asked, and employees had to do health statements on every employee and dependent for Blue Cross. And so that's how Blue Cross set their rates. Well, their rates were always just, I mean, it just unbelievable.
Well, and
What was that?
And
That
that's what
very
I've said
first
in the
page.
past. They've been
Yeah,
way up, but
that very first page.
this one, it looks like they're pretty,
Well, this
Well,
very
kinda
first
comparable.
page.
Not according to their figures of a, what she's saying is Blue Cross and Blue Shield would be, if we went with the same plans with them we have now, you're looking to pay 41%.
No, that,
Greater.
okay,
Yeah.
but that would be,
Look at
that
your
is not a freedom choice plan. What I'm saying is if you just went out to market right now and said, we want $1,000 deductible plan, that's what you were paying. But to look at that last column though, Commissioner Reger, the last column says that we want to see the high deductible health plan. Because
Right.
then with the high deductible, your premiums are lower. You take that money you're saving from those higher premiums, at 67%, you put it in your reserve account. That's where you get the two cards. So, but on this one, we've got a $63.50, so it's $350 more on the deductible. You guys could say, you know, we'll eat it, or you know, we can discuss that,
I
Scott.
just, and it's probably been about 10 employees the last 2-3 months have questioned me on Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And the thing is that there,
I'm not saying we're switching.
no, that there's also a city that 5 years ago, I mean, they're my client. 5 years ago, they had Blue Cross. So everything in their mind, and I'm not saying your employees, but I'm saying these employees, was what was 5 years ago. Well, with everything with ACA, everybody's changing. All the carriers change, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to have the same issues, but you are looking at Blue Cross, okay? And when we get to that, but anyway, the next sheet is top providers by group, and you'll see where a lot of the top providers by group came in. This is the same sheet. And one thing I wanted to talk to Commissioner Gardner about, see this number here, Commissioner Gardner, that 121, that's on your top benefits by group, okay? If you look at 121,000 for the plan paid, 21,000 so far, and you look at if you look at the second sheet, remember this sheet here that we wrote in that number over here, and you add medical claims and prescription drug claims, you're going to come up and go, well, that's about $18,000 less than that 121, because this one doesn't include the dental. So if you add in those dental claims, then you're going to come up with that 121,051. All right? So I just wanted to let you know that. And then the next page is this one, and it is the prescription drug one. And it basically tells you where your employees are utilizing most of the prescription drugs, if it's generic or if it's name brand. Here is the chart, this page here, that tells you that out of the total drugs, you have 90% of the prescription drugs in the blue that are being used are generic. Only 9% are name brand. But then if you look over here, the total cost of the drug, guess how big the purple area got with the cost of the drug. So yes, not as many people are using the name brand drugs in here, but do you see the cost of the name brand drugs? So that's why I like this little graph. You guys did your deductibles on your copays, not deductibles, on your copays. You did lower your copay to $10 last year on your generics. So that has helped a few more dollars by going with generic drugs. But I just wanted you to see this graph to see where a lot of the dollars are for brand name drugs. Okay? This is the benefit sheet. You guys have seen this a lot. That tells you what kind of plan. So if you took this benefit and you went out to market, that first page I showed you, that's where you see the 60% increase in what you're paying, because the county is buying a high deductible health plan, using the savings and the premium, putting it in a reserve account. Okay? This is the green, it says dental. This is what I was going to talk to you about. You have a $2,000 calendar year benefit. I don't have another client, and I don't know if Julie does or not, that has that high of annual benefit. Most of them are $1,000 or $1,500 on dental plans. That means the company will, once you reach that amount, they're done. Once they've paid their maximum out of pocket, they're done. So you guys have a really good dental plan because you have 180/80 benefits for them. Most plans are 150/50. And you throw in some orthodontia also. Your vision plan stayed the same rate, same, everything stayed the same on vision, so there was nothing really to talk about on that one.
Well,
Do you want more information on the Blue Cross plan and how that would work for you with the additional $350 under the deductible? It goes from a $6,000 to a $6,350. That's not for the employee to pick up, but that there's an additional $350 there.
I think we owe it to the employees to look a little harder
Okay.
at it.
yeah, they've
We'll
made
do a
the,
spread on that one, on that plan.
they've made the request, so we're just,
Yeah,
Honoring their
we'll
request.
get all the information and we'll show how that'll work and where the dollars will, that'll give you a little bit. This was just an overall, here's where you are, here's what the renewal. If we went out to market and just bought the $1,000 deductible plan, here's how much more money you'd be paying. And here's an option, but it's not the same benefit. Let's get a spreadsheet on that one and see where the numbers fall out for everybody to look at.
I'm a little hesitant with Blue Cross Blue Shield because I come from the city of St. Francis.
I'm sorry.
I'm a little hesitant myself on Blue Cross Blue Shield because I come from the city of St. Francis and they can raise a lot. In
Oh.
the past, it has raised a lot.
And what I asked Julie about Scott, I said, with numbers like this, and yes, I know that it's going to add 350. I know it's going to add some money outgoing, but I said, are they buying the business? Because coming from Arizona, where I was for 30 some years, there were insurance companies that would come in and lowball. And so you'd meet with a client. I had one client that had 1,100 employees, and he was leery as all get out because he was afraid. I mean, they were lowball. I mean, they were 20% under what the going was. And what happened is some of these carriers would come in and they'd lowball it, and then the next year you would just,
Skyrocket.
it would just, they would make up for, it's like they had this pot of money and they said, okay, we're going to lose it this year, but we're going to, or I don't know how they look at it. I am not an actuarial that sits in a cubicle, but I do know, and that's the first thing I asked Julie. I said, is this lowballing? And she said, I don't think so. But she said she has one city that is going to go ahead and do it because it's 20% below what they're paying. And they're going to raise their reserves, put more money in the reserves because they know they're prepared for what's going to happen,
It's gone
Scott.
up.
But, yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
I
just
just think with the people that have come up, I think we need to look at it a little bit harder than we have in the past.
So, anyway, guys, this is, I just wanted you to have all the information, and you did great on your numbers, as always. He's my numbers guy. If you have any questions, just let Julie's office know or me know, Scott. We're traveling constantly this time of year. You can imagine how many renewals we're trying to get done. So just give us a buzz, and we are going to be prepared on the Medicare supplement. I'm going to talk to Julie's office about the EOBs, because Leslie had and Scott too, and Terry, Commissioner Regler, was talking about the billing issues. We'll address that. And then we're going to do a spreadsheet on the Blue Cross, that very last column one, so we can sit there and show where your dollars are going to go, right? Okay. And your renewal is January 1. That means that your open enrollment period for all your employees is the month of December. It's always 30 days prior to the renewal. So the reason I wanted to catch you guys this early is because that way we can have a few weeks here and you're not at the deadline trying to make a snap decision. Okay,
We
guys?
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Don't want to do that to anybody. You are so welcome. Did I rush too fast? Okay.
No, I think
Not
we're
for
good.
me, anyway.
No, I talk so fast. Everybody's like, what did she say? Of course, I had interruptions. So it wasn't.
try to eliminate
It
those
wasn't
next time.
my fault.
I think maybe somebody was on Mountain Time, or
I don't
what
know.
time he was on, but we weren't
Isn't that weird?
expecting a call.
You
for
guys
quite
have a
while.
good one, and then I will get with Julie and.
What I'll do is I'll just gather up all that stuff and scan it and
Yes.
email it,
Okay.
what I have.
Have you talked to Annie? Annie's at Julie's office. She is awesome, and that's that Leslie needs to scan that too, Scott.
Okay.
If
I'll
you
get
can
that
provide
email
her
to
with
Scott.
that information.
She is very helpful.
Okay, guys,
Okay, we'll see you
out of
later.
here. See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning, Brian.
Morning.
All good news from you is all we want to hear.
Most part.
Okay, good.
I'll do my best.
It's like way too much paperwork for me.
Do you mind if
No, come up here. We don't only mind, we require.
Yes. Here today to go over the results of the 2017 audit and review the discussion draft of the audit report. First of all, we'll just kind of go through it. If you guys have any questions or concerns we're going through, feel free to stop me and ask questions. And just go from there, I guess. Flipping a few pages on that, page 1 and 2 is the actual report on the financial statements. It's a clean opinion, best you can get under the Kansas rules, the Kansas Municipal Audit and Accounting Guide rules. Didn't find any concerns as far as departures from the rules in the financial statements. So on page 3 is the summary statement for the entire county, broken out by fund and beginning balance, receipts, expenditures, and ending cash balance. I think for the most part, the cash balances were pretty good shape compared to what we thought might be the case. I think overall, you're up a little bit in total, about $250,000. So I think if you just kind of look through there, we'll hit the more detailed receipts and expenditures by fund as we go through into the schedules, so you can get a little better look at that. On page 5 is the remaining of statement 1. That is just the cash balances broken out by bank and by account type at each bank. You can see there at the bottom, total cash is $5,172,201. Then immediately following that on page 6 is the notes to the financial statement. These are, for the most part, just required disclosures that we have to include with the financial statements. Most of them are required by the state, and then there are a few that are optional type ones that we do include with the financial statement. So page 6 and 7 and on to the top of page, or nope, ends on bottom of page 7 is note 1. That doesn't change much year to year, just a description of the county, any entities that are directly associated with the county, fund types, accounting structure of the county, budget structure of the county, and that type of stuff. So it's kind of a general information for anybody to be looking at the financial statements on how the county operates. Okay, and then note 2, this is where we put any issues with Kansas statutes, anything like that. There were 3 funds there at the top of page 8 that were that had negative cash as of the end of 2017, being the bridge building fund, tax foreclosure, and cafeteria plan. And you can see the $497 was for the bridge building; it was negative. Tax foreclosure was $7,400 negative, and cafeteria plan was $1,268 negative as of the end of 2017.
What is the tax foreclosure?
That's the expenses for our tax sale. The amount that we've paid for title certificates so far.
$7,400?
Yeah. And I think we I'll have to look if that's the right actual total now or if it's a little more now. Because we've had the publication expenses.
Now, is that going to be reimbursed when the sales occur to bring that fund back positive, or how's that going to work? Do you know?
I don't know. This is the first time we've done this, so.
That's just what I was questioning, because a lot of
I don't
times
think I used it
with
the last time we
Yeah,
had
because
our
I know
last tax
what
sale.
I have requested in expenditures, which has been certified mailings and the publication, and that's it. But that, and in regards to the certificates
Well,
and title,
these were
those are
done
like
before you-
$125. Huh?
Those were done before you, I mean,
So these are carryovers from years previous,
mhm,
where they attempted to do the sales.
right. These are clear back from when Moran did the first, and then they had to redo them again. When Nicole took over, she decided it had been long enough. She wanted them redone, so we did them again. So, The ones that were already done, the abstractor did give us a break on those, but the new ones that were added.
So Brian, why is that carried over from year to year?
That's what I'm wondering, if we need to.
It's not a budget, it's just a fund.
You're right, and if it's a situation, might need
Until
to
we
look at
can-
the statutes and see how that. I'm not familiar enough with how exactly that process works to.
Because I have not
to
spent
know.
$7,400.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah,
No,
we
you
can
have,
see.
but that's what's been sent
see
on
how-
the tax sale. But my understanding is the funds that or taxes that we've received and the fees that were paid for those that have paid, how is it put? Really can't be used to reimburse the tax expenses until they've been published or filed by the court. I'm not exactly the time frame. I'm not usually.
And that's what
involved in
I'm
that.
wondering.
Maybe you and
Lot
I
of-
need to sit down and visit about it.
A lot of times in situations like that, it's if it's money that is expected to be reimbursed to the fund, in that situation, it's not a statutory violation when it's negative. So it's something we need to look at and see.
I guess what my intentions were, because I know after I found out that the ones that were paying up after we sent out the first notification, that after we'd already done the certificate of titles, we can reimburse that expense at that point. So I guess at the end of the tax sale, what we'll need to do is probably come to the commissioners and decide where that fund's going to be paid from to reimburse this fund to get it out of the negative. But I chose to use the tax foreclosure account that we already had set up just to get a clear picture of what a tax sale is costing us.
But that's not a clear picture.
Well,
That,
no, because I really
Because-
need to have you, get with me with what you've done for certified and whatever publications, because that really should come out of this fund. So it's all in one picture. Or we need to just sit down and work this out to see how we want to do it in the future.
okay.
Yeah, so we'll look at that a little more, see what's. Okay, note 3, deposits and investments. First part's just the statutes that govern the deposit activities of the county. And then towards the bottom it just says all the money was covered either by insurance through the Cedars program or through FDIC insurance, so all the deposits were safe as of then 2017. Note 4 is defined benefit pension plan, that's CAPERS. First paragraph's just a description of the plan. And the middle paragraph at the top of page 9 is the contribution rules for CAPERS and the statutes that set those contribution rates and how it's funded. And then towards the next paragraph, it has the current rates and then the current contributions for 2017 by Cheyenne County to the state of Kansas were $139,340. Then the final part of that is the net pension liability. This is the amount that's calculated by the state, the CAPERS actuaries, and independent consulting firms that CAPERS in the state has employed. They come up with a total net pension liability that CAPERS is underfunded by and then allocated out to each employer in the state of Kansas, and they have calculated Cheyenne County's portion of that to be $1,286,373. Note 5 is where we put any other deferred compensation or other employee benefit type plans that the county has in place. Note 6 on bottom of page 9 on page 10 is compensated absences and any other employee benefits plans and or other long-term liabilities the county may have. And that's, like I said, primarily just the compensated absences that would be paid out upon termination for employees. Okay, and then note 7 is interfund transactions. These are the operating transfers that are made between funds. We have the schedule there of what fund is from, what fund is to, and the amounts and the statute that governs those. Dolores has, I think, updated the transfers a little bit for 2017, so we will need to go through, and she just gave that to me this morning, double check and make sure we've got all those. I think they're pretty close, but you got to make sure they're all accurate before we finalize stuff here. Note 8 just says the county carries insurance to cover any potential risk due to theft, damage, or natural disasters. And that during the course of the audit in the last 3 years, we haven't noted any claims in excess of the insurance coverage carried. And then note 9 would be if we had to include any current claims against the county or judgments against the county, and there's nothing that we noted during the audit as far as legal actions against the county that were relevant to the financial statements. Note 10 on page 11 is regarding the landfill closure and post-closure costs. These would be any costs associated with the closing of the landfill and then the maintenance after it's closed in the future. Estimates are done on the future costs of this, and then the county funds the trust for a specified amount each year. There in the third paragraph, you can see in 2017 it was $63,395 that the county paid into the trust. And as of the end of 2017, there in the final paragraph, the county has paid in to the trust $360,789 that is currently being held for the purposes of the closing and post-closure care of the landfill. And that's just required to be in there as a note since it's not actually included directly as a liability on the financial statements in accordance with the rules in Kansas. Then note 11 would just be where we'd include any events that happened after December 31st, 2017 through today that needed disclosed, and there's nothing that we noted that needed to be added in that note. So then the remainder of this is just the supplementary schedules, which would be the more detailed information for 2017. Schedule 1 on page 13 is the all the budgeted funds the county had during 2017. At the far left is the certified budget, then any budget credits, expenditures for the current year by fund, and then the variance over or under in the final column. Negative number means you were under budget, and all the funds were well under their published budgets. And on page 14, we get into the Schedule 2s. First, for the budgeted funds, these are the detailed schedules showing all the receipt accounts and all the expenditure accounts for each fund. Page 14 is the receipts for the general fund. And the first column is actual numbers for 2016, and then the next 3 columns are 2017's numbers, actual, and then the middle column's budget, and the last column's variance over or under budget. On the receipt side, a positive number means that the receipts were greater than what was budgeted. Negative number means it was less.
I think there's an error on the county attorney.
Okay.
This you would have the proposed that was submitted?
There's a
Andy?
$5,000 discrepancy because persecution was never put into the budget in CIC, which I noted that to the auditors, but apparently I don't know if that.
For 2017?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, when she entered the budget, she just missed putting that amount in there.
Right,
I mean,
but in
it's in the
regards to-
budget itself, but it's not in the system from the reports they were probably using.
Okay, but I noticed for personnel services, that's incorrect also.
So, that I don't know.
Okay, the 50,
What's your
or
name?
For the budgeted amount.
46,802, is that what you're looking at? Okay.
91,331.
Okay. Let's go back and.
But this was never put in, so
Okay.
in the reports that you're looking at, of course, which is probably this, that's not. And I don't know if it would be better
17 budget? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if there could be like a budget adjustment done for period 13 to fix that for you, so that the reports actually match it,
Yeah.
5,000 or not.
I don't know, that's a big deal. Main thing, we just gotta make sure that this matches up with the amount that's published.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Oh, I'm looking on the wrong line.
I'll look into that further.
46.
Brian.
Okay.
46,
Yeah, we
802
can double
is
check it
what's-
too. We've got that at the office, so. And it's possible too, when the breakout between the personal services and contractual, there could have been an issue there. 'Cause it looks like the contractual is quite a bit under budget, so.
What had happened is during 2016, they had given the then existing county attorney a raise. And so that should have been budgeted, that raise should have been budgeted for the 2017.
Uh-huh.
And that's not the amount that they had negotiated for her salary
Okay.
for the 2017
There was a
year.
mistake.
I think for the most part in the general fund there, the expenditures are on 15, 16, 17, and 18, and 19. A lot of stuff there in the general fund. Just kind of let you look through there. If you have any questions or anything you want to address, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll just let you look.
It's on here.
And I'm wondering if maybe if it was a situation where it was a raise, if it was done after, see that budget for 17 would have been prepared summer of 16. So maybe it wasn't done till after that and didn't, I don't know.
And that could be, because I wasn't here.
That's my
Yeah.
suspicion would be that
There was-
since we got budgets so far
That's
ahead,
when they
that-
did they did one more adjustment in 17 that threw some budgets into.
And that could very well be.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
just,
Yep.
I'd like to understand why.
Yeah, yep.
They did, well, after that Austin Peters, they did some
Oh, yeah.
increases in 16, but they came back and there was some, I don't know if the county attorney must have been one of them, that was still got another raise. I think there was 12 employees that, which threw my budget off.
Yeah, and that's the struggle with the budget is it's done far enough ahead of time that
You
It
never
can-
know what's going to happen.
yeah, you never know what's going to happen, and that can cause problems. Okay, bottom of page 19 is where the expenditures in for the general fund, ending cash balance of $1,132,456 as of the end of 2017. Page 20 is the road and bridge fund, same type of deal. You got receipts and expenditures for both 2016 and 17, and ending cash balance there $315,141. Page 21 is the bridge building fund. This is one that ended up with $497 negative cash. Had expenditures of $16,590.
Well, they rolled that part of that over into his other budget.
Yeah, this is not getting taxes anymore.
Right.
So I didn't know. I kept asking if they wanted to do something about it, but I never got a reply.
Yeah.
So it just stayed that way.
Yep, and that's something too. I don't, because I assume since they're not levying anymore, is the fund just gonna end?
Away, yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, so
that's
sooner
probably
or later it's going to
something
have to go
we
filter into something.
probably, I was gonna say with that, might as well just get that.
The only thing is we still are collecting
little
delinquent
bit.
taxes, especially with this sale coming up. We'll still have a little bit to distribute in there, so that might cover
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
it. I don't know
Yep.
about all of it, but
Yep.
if we get any taxes, from
Yep.
these sales, hope so.
Page 22 is noxious weed. Sure. Property tax and reimbursements coming in there, and expenditures. Personal service, contractual, and commodities. Ending cash balance there, $26,857. Noxious weed capital outlay fund on page 23. Some reimbursements coming in there, and then the capital outlay expense $88.50. Ending balance there, $26,036. Page 24, Prairie Dog Fund. Charges for services, and then the expenses of $4,916. Ending balance $72.76. Page 25, special alcohol, liquor tax $4,579 is the receipts there. Expenditures of $3,434. Ending balance $2,062. And then on page 26, Special Parks and Rec, this is where another portion of the liquor tax goes, $1,161 there. No expenditures during 2017, and ending balance of $8,213. Page 27 is the E911 fund, 911 tax and interest receipts of $51,506. And then the expenses for that fund, $52,880, ending balance $96,147. Page 28 is the hospital fund, property tax and sales tax coming in for the receipts, totaling $614,795. And the amount expended is the same, and zero ending balance. $29, Rural Fire District Fund, property tax and some miscellaneous revenue coming in, $166,939. Expenditures of $122,840, and ending balance of $49,934. And that's all the budgeted funds. The next several pages are the non-budgeted funds the county had during 2017. There's several funds on each page. Page 30 is special machinery, multi-year capital improvement, special fire equipment, and county equipment reserve. You can see the receipts individually for each one of those funds, and then the only fund that had money expended was the special machinery fund, $507,937 in equipment coming out of there. Page 31 is special road improvement, prosecuting attorneys training fund, prosecuting attorneys diversion fund, and county attorneys bad check fund. And the receipts and expenditures for each one of those. Page 32 is offender fees, registry of deeds technology, county clerk technology, and county treasurer technology funds. Page 33, health grants, motor vehicle fund, oil and gas valuation depletion fund, and landfill closure trust fund. And then on page 34 is their EMS building, ambulance memorial, handicap equipment, and gift annuity funds. Page 35, rural healthcare, home for the age, multi-year capital improvement, airport, multi-year capital improvement, and grants funds. Page 36 is the remainder of the non-budgeted funds, Spark, Special Law Enforcement Trust, Public Transit, and Home for the Aged Bond Fund. And then on page 37 is where we include the airport board as a related municipal entity of the county, meaning they're a part of the county. For the financial statements, you have the appropriations from the county of $23,000, some interest $29, and then the expenditures for operations at the airport. Ending balance in the airport bank accounts was $92.16. And the final schedule is page 38 and 39. These are the agency funds. Any money the county holds on behalf of others as an agent. Primarily going to be the property tax being held to be distributed to various entities. That's the top portion there. Middle is the state funds. Towards the bottom there's subdivision funds, and then at the bottom of 38 and on to 39 is any other agency funds the county currently holds. And clear at the bottom there on page 39 is the total ending cash balance in all the agency funds, $5,435,759.
Well, and I apologize, Brian.
Yep.
I have in my head, I forget that these, excuse me, are basically a year behind.
Yep, we're a year behind. That's what I was thinking.
So all of the expenses on the tax
Yep.
foreclosure have been in 2018. So
Yep.
this isn't the current.
Yep, this is 17.
So my apologies.
Nope, that's fine.
I was, like,
That's fine.
freaking
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It gets confusing because we're doing 17.
Yes.
You're done with the budget for 19 already, and you're currently in 18. So
Yeah, so that
it
was
happens.
my bad on that because I was
That's
just.
Common that we are a year behind getting a budget out.
No,
Not
no.
a budget.
The
but
audit, no, that's the timeline that everybody's on pretty much, and usually.
You have to wait till the year's over.
Yep, you gotta wait till the
to-
year's over, and
and
then,
The
But it
encumbrances
takes
are,
a year to do the audit.
encumbrances come in, and,
yep,
I mean.
basically have to wait
June, July
until,
is ideal, but sometimes things happen.
right,
that
basically have
just-
to wait until at least April to even start with the end of the year payables. They're still coming in.
Gotta wait for
January,
the dust to
February,
settle
March.
from the year.
Exactly. And at a minimum, we always typically wait until the budget for the future years pretty well set to even think about finalizing the audit, just in case there's something that comes up with transfers or that kind of stuff through the course of the budget process. And like I said, ideally probably August, September timeframe. This is a little later than we would like, probably by a month or two, but it's almost always going to be at least probably August, September before. And you know, we look, I guess, different counties. It's pretty much statewide. They're usually in the June to August timeframe of when they're getting it done. So we kind of operate on an old timeline, not the current pace everybody else operates at, it seems like. So, but any questions or concerns or anything besides the stuff we discussed while we were going through it?
I don't even know where to go back and look at it. It said something on the EMS.
Was that the EMS building fund, or was it something?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I think that would be on about 34.
34.
Yep.
Okay, that's a building fund.
That's I believe
There's-
the
Yeah, 4 different ones.
yep. They're on the left side of the building. The 10,500 in reimbursed expenses, and then the 10,079 in
What I
expenditures.
was wanting to see is, we never see anything on, what is the reimbursements on like ambulance runs?
Oh, that would be going in the
That would
general
be-
fund.
In the,
Back there on page 14 would be your ambulance fees. They're about halfway down the page on 14 would be the money that's coming in. You see that 107,292 for 2017.
charge for services.
Yep, under charges for services there. And then 16 was 118,595. So that's where that would be all the money, all the revenue that the ambulance service collects for, and that would be the actual amount collected during 2017 that was actually paid. It has nothing to do with the amount that was actually
We
billed.
budgeted 90,000 and took in 107,000.
Right, so about a little over 17,000 more than what was budgeted, and that's, when that's budgeted too, that's kind of tricky, because it all depends on factors that you have no idea how that's going to play out, as far as how many runs they're going to do and that kind of thing. And I know at one point
And
they're
what's
doing a lot
gonna
more
get
transfers,
paid and
and
not-
yeah, and what, with, well, insurance and Medicare and all them, they're months to years behind paying, so they may bill out more or less than what they actually collect, and what you see is only what they collect for the year.
Well, all we see is expense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this
See
is,
any income.
this is
It's
just what,
interesting to know what our income is.
Yep, and that's the thing. It gets buried there in the general fund, just as a little line item in the general fund.
so the
that's kinda hard
90,000
to-
would be what he had submitted as what he normally,
Yep.
So we brought in more than we budgeted.
Yep. Yep, and I know when the pastor talked about breaking the ambulance out into a separate fund. I don't know. Hasn't happened. I don't know that it needs to or not, but I
you know,
think,
like Road and Bridge.
yep. Yeah.
There's years that it really needs the general to cover it.
Well, that's the issue, and
And then you're in trouble.
I figured that the general had to cover it
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
You just don't
Yep.
know.
yep.
Not,
Especially when you need a new ambulance and
Yep.
well, they hopefully are putting money aside into it.
And they have been,
Equipment reserve for
yep, they've been
that, so-
transferring some to equipment reserve for that. And yeah, for the 250 or whatever that costs, I don't know. That's anything else.
There's nothing else. I do want to visit with you about transfers.
Yep, do that.
We're kind of in a transition of trying to get things to work in the way you guys are used to.
Yep,
and,
just getting on the same
like
page
they
on it.
really
Yep.
should be done. So
Yep.
I would kind of like for you and I to visit with the commissioners together about that
Yep.
because I'm still kind of having issues with doing that myself. I've done it one way for so long.
Yeah,
I'm having
that's-
trouble sending to your
Yeah. Anyway,
way of doing it. So, I mean, not that we are doing it wrong or anything, but
Yeah.
just unnormal.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's
And so I would kind of like, I like that aspect. I've talked to you guys before about it. I think we need to try to transition to that aspect where we get away from budgeting to actually budget to transfer something to equipment reserve or a special fund. And that fund is actually, money would be actually put into like capital outlay or something like that rather than a specific transfer amount. And what that does is it's an incentive for the department to not overspend their budget, to put some money away for a savings in the future.
sure.
So instead of having a specific amount that we have in our budgets for transfer, we just they figure that like you do your own home budget or office budget. You think, well, you know, you're going to need this down the road. Instead of putting it in that, just put it into capital outlay. And hopefully at the end of the year, you've behaved yourself and you can put that money away and have it for the future. And so when the audit is completed and each of the budgets have been considered or decided, what we've done before was put down the original budget, if there was any adjustments, and then what was audited. And then I'd always fill in the amount that they had put in there to transfer. But since we aren't going to put that in the budget that way, I'm assuming that each department is going to need to come to the commissioners to request an X dollar amount of what they know is left in their budget to transfer.
To transfer to next year's budget.
But then if everybody transferred, they can only do like 25% or something like that. I don't know. I mean, we can't transfer everything that's left over because then we wouldn't have a cash balance
Right.
left over in the general. So I'm trying to.
So-
I'm kind of trying to figure that part out.
right.
How do we do that part?
So, I guess when you're going through and doing your budget, preparing the budget, to us, I mean, it doesn't matter if you actually have a specific line item that says transfer to equipment reserve or whatever, because within the budget, the only thing you're bound by statute is on a fund level. So the general fund as a whole, as long as the whole general fund's under budget, you're fine with the state. It doesn't matter if one line item's over, one line item's under, as long as it as a whole is under, you're fine.
That would be a
So,
board decision.
so a lot of times what we do in a lot of counties, they will just have, maybe in their budget, just put like transfer to equipment reserve and put one big blanket amount of $400,000 or something. Then they can allocate that to the different departments based on the departmental budgets that they have remaining. So how you do that through the budget process, I don't think is real critical either way. And, we have sometimes commissioners, if somebody's over budget in a department because of something completely unforeseen, a lot of times they'll still allow them to transfer. I mean, you really have discretion about that as long as you don't go over budget as a fund. So what I guess most counties do, and I think you guys have been doing it, but at the end of the year, last meeting of the year, they will, prior to that, they will request from the departments have them request how much they want to transfer to equipment reserve, if any.
And we've been doing
Yeah,
that.
and you've been doing that. And then,
Has each department come to you and requested their year-end transfer?
Well, they
amount?
haven't, but
I thought you just did away with that this year.
you remember you give us those
Well-
transfer sheets to hand to them if they wanted to come back.
no, those were,
These are the end of the year
yeah,
transfers.
those were budget transfers where you're just going line item
This
to
is
line
end of the
item.
year
Or if
These
they
would
needed
be-
to do it like a grant match. But there are a few of them I know have come to me to get their year-end transfer forms, but I don't know that they've come to you yet.
These-
They haven't-
Because I told them it depends on, they haven't even seen the audit yet, so.
Yeah,
I
the end of the
I
year
told them it's
transfer.
kind of premature to go ask for it before they even know where the audit's at.
Yeah, the end of the year transfers are, what we're talking about is transfers from one fund to another, like from the general fund to the equipment reserve fund. So, just, you have them departments request how much they want, and then you can approve up to, write up a resolution and approve up to that, or however much you want to approve to.
I think it's been saying 25%.
Yeah, pending the audit. And then what happens is we factor in the kind of stuff we're talking about there after the end of the year, the accounts payable, and then compare that to what's left of the budget. And then at that point, come up with what amount they can transfer. And then at that point, you can okay them. So basically, all you're doing at the end of the year is just kind of doing a pending approval, just so it's done before the end of the year, pending the audit, pending the final balances. So,
That's what we
and
did last
Because
year.
I have to have the transfers done
Yeah.
before I can close 17 in order to open 19.
right,
So-
typically,
But this last column here is what was put in their budgets as a transfer amount. And I just put this as a Board of Commissioners authorized transfer amount, so you'd have to approve this amount.
Each one of them.
Yeah, so I haven't, of course, I didn't have the audit, so I don't have the audited balance in here yet, because sometimes there'll be adjustments that they make, so that will change the actual balance that we show in our program.
So will you get each department their balance and let them know what they can? Or is this just automatically they're gonna do it?
No, that's
what
what
I'd
we're working out.
say, what I'd say would be best is if you could provide the departments just probably as of in the end of November for 2018, provide them. Well, once we get 2017 figured out, provide them with the amounts that were actually transferred for each department. And then for 2018, just run a budget to actual expense comparison for each department and provide that to them.
Like this.
Yeah. So that way they know, I've got
I think they
20,000
get one of
left.
those every month, don't they? Something that looks
Right.
like
So
that.
they should be able to just
I get
base, yeah, they should be able to look at that
I haven't
and
been
see
getting
how much
this
budget they
lately.
have, or project out how much budget they'll have left. And like I said, whatever they request obviously is pending approval. And then once you approve it, that's pending the audit and making sure that the budget is there and stuff like that. So I guess
And that would help them remember what amount they want to save. If we leave that line in there, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, that's just complete. It's not a bad idea
But
to.
how can we budget for that if we can't increase the budget?
How do we
Each department.
You just move it between line items.
I mean, you would just change it. You would,
have
you
room
would,
you can transfer.
So, and that's the thing with the general fund is there's so much stuff going through there that it's going to be tough to keep everybody happy with all the different departments, and yet maintaining your carryover going forward is going to be a little tricky. But some of the issue we ran into, I know in the last few years, was some of the transfers were being made, some weren't. We didn't realize that ahead of time, type thing, and just trying to get it all to where.
just to catch you up, Leslie, on how the county used to do this, is once the budgets were approved, January 1, the clerk's office would go through the budget and bring me the transfers, and we would transfer that money for them in January. So they had that money in those special funds to use throughout the year. And come to find out from this audit firm, that's really not how it
Well,
should
and the
be
problem
handled.
being
And so
with doing that was that then
we
the
may
general
not
fund was
have-
negative
yeah, when we
cash
ran
by
into
$1 million
those years,
something
like
when we first started.
3 or 4 years
Yeah.
that we had a negative in the general,
Yeah.
we had to transfer that money back
Yeah.
out, and some of them had spent it.
And then the other side of that too was when we first started, nobody was actually tracking what department was transferring into the equipment reserve fund, and they were just whatever department wanted to use the equipment
Yeah.
reserve, they just used it, and it
We
really
used
came
to
from a
track
different
it, but then
department.
the past auditor said, no, it's a
Yeah,
pit
that's-
of money and it's a fair game, so they quit tracking it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
then
this was how it was set up before I even came.
yeah.
So this is why it's kind of confusing.
And that's some of the problem we've run into is there's been times when these different departments have wanted the transfers being done sooner because they needed to use the money for equipment different times and having to wait.
I think, Brian, what we need to do is just set up a time when we can sit down and you can tell me, okay, these are the people that we need end of the year transfer resolutions for, and we can get those written up and ready in enough time. So
Yep.
sooner
That
rather
would
than
be-
later.
That would be
because
great.
I want to make sure that we have
Yep.
all of them because there was only a limited few that we did last year. And if you're saying that each one of these in the general, each department is going to have their own reserve, then we need to start
No.
getting busy.
If
That's not how we
No,
did it last year.
No, I don't think we need to do each individual department, just a general.
Because I think
General
there was a
county.
general, there was a capital projects, road and bridge, rural fire.
Those, yes,
Right.
we do need
Engaged,
those.
But there's
Airport,
nothing on
yeah.
individual departments.
Yeah, and I don't think we need individual
So
department
it's probably going to be the
resolutions.
same as last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know that you necessarily
know.
need individual, where it's already listed in the budget separately, I don't know that you need individual department resolutions.
Okay.
I don't know that that's a
Well,
See,
what we
requirement.
can do is
that's
look
what-
at what we did last year and see what we need
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
Okay.
Just let us know. We can sure help you out. Anything else
I don't think so,
from
Brian.
that? Okay, I got the other one, the rural healthcare fund. Agreed upon procedures. It shouldn't take long to go through. It's pretty short and sweet, so we'll run through that right quick. So on this, it's kind of been a challenge. Page 1 is just the report. Basically had 2 procedures. First thing was I was going to review the grant agreements to try and determine what payroll expenses and benefits could be paid out of the Rural Healthcare Fund, Fund 120, that was created in 2015, I believe. In doing that and looking through the grant agreements I was given, they were very vague on what, as far as benefits and what exactly could be paid, and just kind of had ranges and budgets, and so nothing specific. So I kind of bypassed that and just said I wasn't able to determine exact nature and stuff like that, and relied more on the employees of the county and clerk and everybody to kind of just tell me what they understood it to be, and then I did work off of the spreadsheet that Carol Sloper had done while she was working for the county, and kind of went from there. So The second procedure was I was going to compare what was actually paid out of that fund as far as payroll, salaries, and benefits, and compare that to the payroll records and see how they compared and go from there. So they're on the.
I have this thing.
Yep. Yep.
It's different over there.
So there on the final page is stuff. I didn't get a page number on there. That schedule one, I went through and basically just took the payroll records for the employees that were being paid out of that Fund 120, calculated all the FICA, employer share FICA capers, health insurance, dental, vision, life insurance, all those benefits, compared it to what was actually charged to that Fund 120 on the general ledger, and then came up with the difference. And what I found from the beginning of that fund is very few to, I think there's a little bit of capers being charged to that fund, but outside of that, there was absolutely no benefits that had been paid out of that fund for those employees that I could see since the start of the fund. So I'm not sure I came up with an exact answers I would have liked to. And based on what I did, I would say that I haven't been able to, I guess, hadn't checked out exact. I'd assume the benefits have been being paid out of the general fund is what it boils down to for these employees when they were supposed to be coming out of this Fund 120. So based off these numbers that I'm seeing, I think there's like 120,000 roughly in that Fund 120. I think on that GL report.
21 is what I sent you.
121,660.
Yeah.
44.
So basically, based off what I was calculated out there, that full amount should go back to the general fund as reimbursement for all the benefits that had been paid for those employees out of that fund, based off the information that I came up with from going through it. So I don't know.
So are we talking about like the heart and stroke and?
All that.
Grants.
The federal grant, and then there's
The-
state private grant.
The heart and stroke is basically a wash now, for sure. I mean, she's just part-time, so there's benefits. Problem is, we're negative money now on the rural health care.
Benefits. Yeah. If we transfer the full amount.
If we transfer the 121.
Yeah, you're negative.
This is 131.
Should have transferred 131, but there's only 121.
Basically, what it amounts to is, 3 months ago or something, that fund was out of money in reality.
And we picked it up.
And you just been funding the last 10,000 or whatever, 11,000 is what it.
Did we get a response from the hospital after this was made available?
I haven't I will contact them after. I wanted to wait till after today.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, that was our plan.
Okay.
The one program is defunct, but the other one was going to try to get the hospital to. Hopefully they still.
They want it, or they did want it.
They did want it.
Well, yeah, they wanted
It's been
an
low now.
Yeah.
So
they wanted an audit so that they could go up and find out the balance. So that they go after funding.
There is no balance.
There is no balance.
I'd say.
There's a
We
negative
need to
balance.
transfer that out into general and
At the end.
But
of
we
the year.
can't put that fund in the negative, can we?
Nope. I just, and it's going to be a little bit less. Is
So
more
they're
payroll
gonna-
coming
so
out
they're
today,
still
or?
Well, payroll's coming out. We are still waiting on a little bit of money coming back on heart and stroke.
So once all
Yeah,
that,
we'll get a little more.
It's
in.
probably still going to be a negative, but
once all that finalizes out, I'd do it if you can get it done before the end of the year.
she's still working.
So we'll have
we're still-
another pay
Yeah.
check.
So I mean, and I guess my understanding would be if she is still working, and then it
Plus,
just come
we
out of
still
general
need to
fund
pay
anyway.
her
So
vacation out too. So
Yeah.
that's-
so yeah, once you get all that settled up, I'd
There's a
just
vacation.
transfer.
And so what I'm hearing is that the position is now terminated?
I mean, this was to run till the funds
Yeah,
were there.
that's an excellent question that no one has ever really answered.
As,
This was
as
supposed
they-
to go
they
until
re-
grant
they
funds were
send the
depleted. The grant
vouchers and they
funds are
reimburse
depleted.
us, so the
They are
funds keep
depleted.
coming, but
They're more than depleted.
Yeah, they're more than, and we knew that, because that, the last, well, July, somewhere in there, we knew that money was gone. But
Well,
it was
we,
going.
we
It was
thought
going
it
to
was
be
gonna
gone.
last till January.
yeah.
And I probably, when I went through and made that 132 calculate or 131,000, I'm probably a little on the high side because there's some, I kind of prorated out the health insurance. They said maybe when she went part-time that she had just gone down to 30% being charged out there. So there might be a $3,000 difference there or something, but yeah.
So we're
but
just gonna
these
have
are
to
just
wait.
expenses. You're not considering what they're going to get reimbursed, right?
Right. Yep, that's just actually what was paid for salaries and benefits compared to what was.
So I guess the question is, there is still grant money coming in for the position, because that's billed to, no.
The only
This was a
grant
set
money
amount.
that's coming in is for
The heart and
the heart and
stroke.
stroke.
Okay.
This rural healthcare one that Tammy is under, there's no money coming in or.
She's about done.
Well, they're
correct?
both run
She
through
went
that
from
rural
full-time
health
to
care
part-time,
fund,
so.
though.
Right, but there's no, I mean, there was a balance in there that Tammy is running off of, and when that run out, the position was supposed to end.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that money's gone.
So,
But she,
But we had the hopes of the
so
hospital.
is that why
picking
she
it up.
went to part-time?
They wouldn't
Because
consider
of
it until
that?
the
She
audit was
took another
finished.
position that kept.
Once the audit is disclosed, there's no money.
Right. So now it's in their park whether they want to pursue this again or not.
If you
But I
want
think a determination needs to be made in regards to the employment status of this employee.
I think we need to call Tammy in and visit with her, tell her where we're at.
Might not be a bad idea.
I mean,
And I think we also need to
I don't
call-
think we ought to do something about visiting with her and say,
And I think we need
we're
to
working
get
under a
contact with.
grant. The grant is out of money, even though you're
See where-
part-time, we don't have any money.
Well, then we also need to visit with Kelly at the hospital, see if they're
See
even
what they're
remotely.
interested at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something we'll need to do in the next couple, 3 weeks to figure out. Visit with Tammy, visit with Kelly. See what her intentions are and see what the hospital's intentions are.
And there's a lot of people think it's a good program.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if our budget will handle it.
Not based on a full-time.
No, and that's why this grant was being questioned clear back in April. It's because we didn't have good numbers in regards to where these grants were at.
I had somebody come to my office and say, why is this still going? This should have ended.
So that's where the
This-
questions
This is
start.
how all of this came about. I mean,
Yeah, it's a valid question.
but there was some, what they originally thought, there was some more grant money that came in. That's why it was still going, but it got us looking at monies, and it's a
But
good thing. 'cause
but we were paying benefits out of the
Yeah,
general.
nothing was getting
and it
reimbursed
wasn't taken
back
out
to the
of the-
county. It was
out of
just
the
going
grant
into this
fund.
fund. And
So the proper transfers weren't being requested by
Right,
people who were the
in
department
charge
head.
of the grant.
And is this for both heart and stroke and the other?
That's for
grant,
all of
or
it.
just
Yeah.
one?
everything
grant?
that's everything that went through that fund.
Because I'd have to go back and look at the receipts. Seemed like heart and stroke. I know when they first started doing this, Carol was wanting a breakdown of what those benefits, and so that she could get reimbursement from benefits. And
And she'd been
she couldn't get any figures. So
Right.
She just estimated.
she had
herself.
yeah she had a spreadsheet and she was estimated and she was actually keeping pretty decent track of
Yeah.
the benefits on a spreadsheet she was doing, which I guess was getting sent to the grantors, whoever. But then somehow at the county level, none of those benefits that she was keeping track of were getting charged out of the fund that they should have been at the county level ever. And then back in 16 or 7, somewhere in there, the county had transferred 54,000 or something in there as a county match, which nothing was coming out of there that should have been already, so that kind of made it even worse from that sense, I guess, and the money got transferred in there from the county, but then the benefits weren't being paid out of there, so.
The benefits could have been considered part of the match.
Right. Basically, what
Had
should have
they not
happened
done the
is
transfer.
they should have just been, either you shouldn't have done the transfer,
'Cause I
or you
think
should
there
have.
was only one
It would have been a lot
transfer that was
closer if they either
requested.
wouldn't have done the transfer or charged the benefits out of the fund. But then, they almost doubled up on it when they did transfer over there. And so, just a lack of whatever you want to say.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. And, this is a letter I'll need signed at some point before we can finalize stuff. It just, management rep letter just says you provide us information that we requested and you're responsible for that information. And
So, should we wait till we get the rest of the money from the Heart and Stroke? Is that continuing though?
It's not gonna.
Well, I guess just let me know what I need to transfer.
I think
If and when.
I'd wait until whatever comes out of there today for payroll, then whatever you decide with that, I'd transfer that balance. Or I'd get it done before
She's gonna
the.
have another,
Right.
until they let her go, they're gonna
Right.
keep having
Right.
expenses out of there.
Yeah, and whatever you do, I'd try to get it done before, might as well get it done before the end of the year.
So,
So do we need something from the board saying
I
keep
think
this
there needs to be
position
a-
going till the next meeting, or?
I think so, because that fund is being overexpended.
So
That will,
I'll send you a final copy
Oh,
of that part of it. So that way you have it
Didn't
in
even realize it
case
turned on.
hospital or whoever wants to look at it, whatever. So I'll do that and go from there, I guess.
thank you.
and I'll wait for
And then we'll-
word of what I need to transfer and when.
Sort out everything, make sure all those transfers for 17 are good and everything else and go from there.
And you'll get me will there be any audit adjustments I need besides the year-end transfers or
Yeah, there'll probably be a few.
That's not fair.
I'll make sure
sooner the better?
sooner the better. Trying to think if maybe no, I'm sure I haven't done it yet. So, yeah.
I said it's not fair to Tim.
No,
This is
I
what has
mean-
happened.
She didn't
Yeah.
cause it.
No,
No.
She did.
it's not her
She
fault.
did, and she was providing
People
a
were
good
not doing their
service.
job and
Just to
Here
see.
we
caused a
are.
good program to maybe completely go away.
On 17, once I get make sure all the transfers are good, I'll send you an updated copy if there's any changes, and then at some point, we'll just need to have the board approve the audit for 17 once we're comfortable that all the transfers are good to go and everything. So
And you've got a current 27. You asked me for the general ledger. Do you want
might
a
not,
current one of these?
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would
think
probably
there's
be
been
great.
any changes. But
might not hurt to
I
double
noticed
check.
when I was
Yeah,
sitting there before the meeting
Yeah,
that
sometimes
I had a
that-
couple of transfers.
yeah. Sometimes that 13 stuff all throws us.
I would like to ask and invite the auditor to listen to our proposal. You've just been figuring out all these issues. Well, we've got issues. Is
Okay. I'll hang around.
Can we take a
that
break?
all right?
I think Terry's already on, or was on one.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come right back.